Hello, hello, everyone. It is Thursday, not Wednesday. Apologies for the delay. I totally forgot that it was Emma's 2-month checkup. Time flies when you are a tired parent. So, yeah, something I wanted to look at, and I mentioned in some of the previous streams, kind of in an effort to do the things for Laravel 10. I want to look at the workbench, particularly, or well, hold on, let's back up a second. Let's back up and talk about the Laravel 10 shift. I put this out there earlier this week, kind of quietly. Obviously, it's a little more public now that I'm talking about it on the stream. Laravel 10 is not officially released yet. That should be sometime next week. But I like to always kind of launch this a bit early for just the people who want to try it out. I offer it, at a discount, just $9. Kind of until things are official. It's just a nice way for, again, people to test it, give me some feedback. They can save a few bucks, and when the release is official, if they'd like it to be rerun, they can. So what I want to do, or what's kind of the biggest piece of the Laravel 10 shift, is the typing that happens. There's a lot of deprecations and a lot of conventions that can be picked up, but a lot of these things, two out of kind of the main, several things here, relate to type hints. And if we go back to the workbench, there already is a task in here. If we just kind of take a look for doc block, there's a lot of stuff in here. There's simply remove all doc blocks from code. That doesn't necessarily need an update. The remove redundant doc block tags doesn't necessarily need an update. The one that I'm most interested in focusing on today, if we keep scrolling, is remove Laravel doc blocks. As Laravel has added type hints, they have kind of already done some of those other two things that we saw in these workbench tasks. For example, anywhere where there's a type hint in PHP, it's no longer in the doc block. It's only in the doc block if it's more specific. So because of that, the quote-unquote default Laravel doc blocks have changed. So what I'd like to do in this stream is basically install a new Laravel 10 application, maybe run some PHP artisan migrate kind of stuff, some make commands, make some migrations, make some models, make some notifications, some mailables, all sorts of things. Just make a bunch of components and then jump into the workbench and run this and see if it gets rid of the doc blocks that Laravel generated or a new Laravel 10 application would generate. So that'll kind of be what we're going to look at. If it, that's kind of interesting, expand resource routes and then it dies. I'll have to take a look at that one. Anyway, if it does work, then great. And if it doesn't, then maybe we'll try to hack around and fix some of the things. I don't know if I'll have time for that. We'll just kind of see. But let's see how much works, right? So I'm just kind of piddling around here. Hey Adrian, how's it going? Good vibes. Yes, good vibes. So let's get out into just the general workspace, and I always forget like the old school way to do this. I can't run Laravel new because again Laravel 10's not official, so I think you can say something like create project Laravel :10.x-dev maybe, and then like Laravel 10. Let's see. That could be way wrong. Oh, hey, it's working. Look at that. Old school memory there. I think I did that right. We're about to find out. It's installing. Did it put it in the Laravel 10 directory and all that stuff? I don't know. We're about to find out. So it is getting the Laravel 10.x framework though, so that's good. So let's give Composer a minute to do its business, hopefully. Go, go, go. Hey Samuel, how's it going? Laravel new xy-dev. Okay. I thought there was a way to maybe do it. Anyway, we're deep in Composer land now, so we'll just let it get going. Go, go, go. All right, Composer, thank you for being slow. So cd Laravel 10? There it is. Cool. All right, git init, git add dot, git commit dash m, Laravel new, whatever. There it is. Okay, cool. So we should have PHP Artisan. We do. So let's just kind of tinker around up here. I think the easiest thing to do would just be to like do a make model and do like -a. So PHP Artisan make model -a, and we'll just call it like post. So it makes a model, it makes a factory, a seeder, a request. Wow, look at that. The controller policies, great. Okay, so what else can we make? We can make a PHP Artisan make mail, and we can just say something like stream started. All right, there we go. We made a mail. What else can we make? Let's make a couple more things. Let's make, we got a request. Let's make a resource and a rule and maybe like a job. How about that? So we'll do make job, publish stream, and let's do a make resource stream, and we'll do a make, what was the other one we said? Rule. We'll say YouTube U video URL. Look at that. Okay, so these are somewhat legit. So let's just kind of see what these have inside of them. So I'm just gonna cat out like app jobs whatever. Okay, cool. So we have create new job instance, execute the job, all this crazy stuff. There's those type hints that again we're getting out of the box for Laravel 10. That's awesome. Let's just do the resource, just because I haven't used resources that often. So this is resources stream. All right, cool. There we go. Transform the resource. Great. Okay. So default Laravel doc blocks. Yeah, okay, interesting. All right, so let's do git add dot, git commit dash m, create or generate some resources. All right, cool. So now let's fire up the workbench and let's run that task against this Git repo. We should be able to see the changes that it makes, and we'll kind of get a, oh, I'm old. Let's download. Make sure we got everything. Yeah, let's just kind of see what this picks up, and then we can get into the code and kind of maybe again see where things are broken. And we'll see what kind of time I have left, because I only have about a half hour. Hey Bernard, how's it going? Thanks for joining live. Where are we here? Download the workbench already. My internet must be Slowsville today. Google speed test. Run it. It's not that slow. Maybe the workbench is just slow. All right, cool. Where did the workbench go? There it is. Okay, it's rebooting. I mean, I guess it is a couple hundred. It's probably a couple hundred meg, in fairness. Okay, let's go back to editor mode. We don't want editor mode. Let's go back to this mode. All right, and we got doc block. There we go. Remove Laravel doc blocks. And let's change this path to be workspace Laravel 10. Okay, open that. All right, and again, I'm gonna need Docker, which is gonna definitely slow things down, but it's part of the pain for the workbench. You know, I'm probably gonna sunset the workbench. This will probably be the last year for it. I'll probably replace it with just some kind of command line runner that you can throw your same license key in and kind of have all this stuff. It's the black box of like Electron and Docker and stuff has just really proved to be not worth the annoyance. You know, if more people used it, like, you know, I mean, obviously if you were Marcel and Spassi, you know, doing Tinkerwell and Ray, like it makes sense. You have a large audience and you're doing something with the application that, you know, can't necessarily be done elsewhere. But yeah, I just feel like a lot of these tasks could probably be refined where they didn't need kind of this underlying weight. They could probably be, I could probably rewrite a really light layer and just make sure the things that I was using from the system level can be used by PHP directly. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. It's an idea. I'm minimal. I like all the, I just like having the Shift site and working on that. I don't really like having all these multiple different code bases. The Workbench it has like 4 different code bases. It has the Electron, you know, code base. It has the Docker code base. It has, of course, the Shift code base, but that has a section within it that needs to get used, and its own deploy process. It's annoying. It doesn't get the attention it deserves, too. So that makes me feel bad. Anyway, super tangent while I'm burning some time here for Docker to get up to speed. Let me know your thoughts on all that in the chat if you want, again, while we're waiting. Go Docker, go. Hopefully it shouldn't take too long. Let's see what we're saying. Yeah, yeah. You like the Workbench, but Docker's annoying. Exactly. Like, Dockers are necessary evil, just like any other development environment tool. Like, I'm not knocking Docker. It's just that extra layer. Again, a lot of the support tickets aren't necessarily about the tasks. It's a lot of times it's like, oh, you know, this thing with Docker, or I mapped this and it didn't work, and you know, blah 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 blah, and it's not worth it. So, anyway, okay, cool, awesome. So it ran. Let's go see if it made any changes. It did make some changes. So let's just use git here, git add -p, and we'll just, or well, let's do a git diff -w. I think life will be easier there. Okay, great. So in the post controller, it got rid of the doc blocks, so controllers look good. Redirect if authenticated. That's handle's probably the only thing in there. It seems like it is anyway. The post request, authorize rules. I don't think messages comes out of the box. So, yeah, I don't think messages comes out of the box. We'll check it. But it seems to be removing the doc blocks there, even though it has kind of a specific validation rule. Or sorry, a specific, what you call it? Return type in the doc block. That's okay though. So yeah, these are the ones. I mean, this is a prime example of why you would run this. Like, create a new job instance for the constructor. I mean, duh. Execute the job for handle. Like, it all makes sense. Create new message. Mailable probably has more than just the constructor, so we should take a look at that. Okay, model has a lot. This is good. So attributes, casts, policy, view any, view, create, update, delete, restore, force delete. Yeah, okay. Post factory, model state, user factory, model state, migrations. So yeah, a lot of migrations, all the default migrations. So that's a lot. Seeders, okay, cool. So if we look at this list though, there's definitely some things. Let's look at model. Okay, it did remove everything from model. It'd be nice to, I mean, relationships aren't generated for you, so it's difficult to know what like a default relationship doc block would be. But we definitely saw that rules, so get at, or sorry, let's cat app HTTP resources. So this definitely didn't remove anything. So that's one thing. And then I think if we go look at rules, is that under validation? I always forget. No, that's top level. Rules. run the validation rule. Duh. So those are two that we missed that we could do for sure. And let's just ls app. Did I miss anything else? Console exceptions, HTTP, jobs, mail, models. We got models. We got policy. So rules we missed. What about the handler? App exception handler. Yeah, I think we could probably get rid of some stuff in the handler too. Like, it's all pretty straightforward, right? I mean, the whole point is you're wanting to remove stuff, so any kind of default doc block should get removed. So we should probably do these too. Okay, cool. Let's kill the workbench and Docker to save on. Oh my God, I would never recommend you. Go away. Cool. Say, how do you protect your code since it's running on the user's PC? It's wrapped up in a var, and it's, you know, it's in the container, which is short-lived. Like, the long story short is I don't, but you're not. The workbench, again, it has its own Docker build, so you're not getting all of Shift. You know, you're just getting these tasks. So it's, you know, if you wanted to hack that open and, like, you know, somehow extract that var and the resource files associated with it and kind of put Humpty Dumpty back together again and kind of deal with the obfuscation that's kind of built into the var, then, you know, hey, it's doable. You know, you could. But yeah, I'm not super worried about it. I mean, you have like 2% of Shift. So if you've watched my live streams, you've learned more about Shift than what you would get out of that var. So I'm not too worried about it, I guess. Anyway, okay, let's bring up PHP Storm and let's kind of see how we could quickly start adding these. I'm not going to obviously be able to regenerate like the Docker, the Workbench Docker file, but we can run it. I could run it locally off stream, but I think it's, if I remember right, it's kind of just like this list of default things and where to look for them. It's just kind of like this registry class. So if we just kind of add these to the registry, I think it's going to be pretty straightforward. So let's jump into Shift. I believe I pulled down the latest before the stream. So if we go into this task factory, I think, yeah, somewhere in here, if we look for doc block, there it is, remove Laravel doc block. Okay, so this is using a custom rector to remove the doc blocks. Some of the underlying Workbench tasks are backed by rector, and that has proven to be one of the biggest mistakes I've made with Shift. I'm not trying to gripe about rector, to Adrian's point. Good vibes. All the stuff that I've built within Shift is just more familiar to me than rector, and it seems to be more reliable because of that, for those reasons. So that sucks that this is underneath rector, but let's go take a look. Yeah, this is kind of what I thought. There's all these like simple little bits here. Yeah. So what it is basically a registry of like these shared method comments. And then I think if you get a little deeper, it kind of builds into the different things. So if we get down, I think these are in alphabetical order. If we get down to, there's message, so that's good. So we could fix that with message. So this is pretty straightforward stuff. Again, this is why I wasn't super worried about tweaking these. But if we look at rule, we have basically what I would do is just say like invoke, and the invoke method for rule would be like run the validation rule. So it's that simple. Basically, if it finds a doc block that has that in the description and that alone, then it knows you're pretty much a default rule. And again, with Laravel 10, I'm not super worried about it because you're going to get these type hints by default, so there's nothing that you're really adding here. And again, you're running a task, a bit of automation that says it's going to remove the Laravel doc blocks. So I think that that's safe. Okay, so we got rule fixed. So again, you see this is pretty simple. I would like to do the handler, I think. So let's see. Here we go. Property comments. Okay, shared. And then we have command, factory. Let's drop in the handler. And this would be levels. Says that. And what else do we have? Don't report says that, so don't report. And in looking at this, I don't think there's there's obviously this is just a comment, so there's no restriction that this levels has to be in a handler. This is kind of an example of where I write good enough software. Think about where this would fail. This would only fail in a class that had the same property called don't report with a doc block that had the exact same description as the doc block that comes in the default Laravel exception handler. The chances of that are pretty low if you think about it. That's not to say, that it can't happen, but it's good enough. If someone comes back and says, oh, hey, I have a don't flash property that's written exactly the same as Laravel's, well, I'd probably come back and argue that it's a default doc block. So anyway, okay, so up here on handler, we need that register command. So let's go back up to handler, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, handler, register. Yeah, I'll code a few more of these, but I don't think we're going to be able to run this ourselves during the stream. It would require me rebuilding either Docker and or installing Rector locally to be able to run this task within the project, which again, not to gripe about Rector, but it can be challenging to install depending on your project requirements. Okay, it'd be nice to get the other the old school ones, so like report and render. It'd be nice to get their original tidbits there. So we could do that here in a minute. And then what else did we say? We said resource was the other one. Here it is. Transform the resource into an array. So if we go down, let's finish that one out. Resource, and that's to array is that. Awesome. Okay, so we've added everything that kind of popped up on our radar that we felt like we were missing here. Again, this is not necessarily all the comments. Like for example, it doesn't look like I have providers in here. It'd be nice to go ahead and add that. So let's just do that while I'm thinking about it. That's the whole point of the stream, right? Cat app providers app service provider. There we go. These are always a bit silly, right? So register comes with that, and boot comes with this. And there are other bits in there that we could mess with. Ooh, register has its own key. That's probably why I don't have providers, because it's probably, there it is. It's probably a shared a shared bit. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, let's join them. So it looks like the way I wrote this was these are actually joined together and then shared up top here by name. So register. Oops, let's clear that up. There we go. All right, cool. And I'm hearing some chat. Let's see what we have here. I had a beer and a little chat at Laravel. I told him that it's hard for me to get started with Rector if you have to build your own Rector. Now he's started using Laravel and Livewire. Yeah, that's interesting because they dropped their Livewire. To reached out to me and asked if I wanted to take over the Laravel Rectors. And again, I'm trying to pare down Shift, not add more stuff. So it's interesting that they're going to revive those maybe, or add some for Livewire too. I think if Rector focused in on like just the core PHP stuff, it would really have a good niche, right? Like it doesn't need to do everything for every framework. That's an uphill battle. Trust me. Just pick one area. Again, you're already crushing it with the PHP bits of automation that are there. Just focus in on those and make sure those really, really work, you know, and focus in on your DX. Like, I don't know, that's what I would do. Okay, I think we've added everything here. Let's just kind of look at the code that actually kind of ends up using this. So we've got all of these. We got some constants. Okay, fine. So get the type, constants, methods, and properties. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. So if you don't have a doc comment and you're not a class method or a property or a constant, you know, just carry on. Otherwise, we have the node, and then we actually refactor stuff where we strip the comments, and we basically say, for all the comments that have been pulled out of this particular file, if you, oh no, we set the attribute for actually manipulating it later. Where's our manipulation? Refactor constant, this constant comments. Oh, it's each one of these individual ones. Okay, this property comments has that property. Otherwise, that we strip it. Okay, the strip comment is, what are comments? Comments, array comments. Interesting. I guess it's the comments for the whole file? Who knows? Anyway. He uses Livewire. Okay, cool. Well, I think this is all we really need to do here. I think there's probably, again, some more opportunity to go in and generate more things, or go in and look at like the event service provider. You know, it can get rid of the listen, for example. We can see if there's this should discover events. So we could probably clean up, you know, some more stuff here if we wanted. Do we have listen? Listen? Yeah, so I think what I'll do is probably just end the stream here. This was pretty straightforward. I thought I'd have to write a little code for it to fix it, but really it's just kind of registering all these kind of monotonous things. So probably what I'll do is just do like a little grep command to like pull out all the doc blocks, you know, inside of a default Laravel application, and just make sure I've covered all of them. I can just do that with like a little shell script or a little PHP script. That's not that bad. But yeah, otherwise it's just kind of going one by one and making sure that there aren't any boundary cases missed here. So again, just the goal of this task would be to get into a brand new Laravel project now that 10's out, and make sure that, you know, any of the default comments that come out of the box would end up getting removed. So I should be able to do Laravel new, I should be able to run a bunch of different make commands, run that task, and basically see no doc blocks within the application. So it is equivalent to running remove all doc blocks, which is, you know, freely available in the Workbench. So, you know, when would you remove just the Laravel ones? You know, maybe when you have custom ones around your relationships, or you have custom ones around your code, and you know, you don't care about Laravels. Or again, maybe when you just run Laravel new, you just want to go ahead and get rid of what's in there, and you don't, you know, you maybe don't want to kill everything if you've copied something from some third-party code, right? So it has its place, but as you can see, it's really just a game of registering, you know, all of Laravel's written comments for all the different components that come out of the box. So pretty straightforward stuff. That's the way I like it. So thanks y'all for joining live, and I'll see you next Wednesday.